So the Milwaukee Bucks just lost in 6 games to the Indiana Pacers, and with them making a trade for Damian Lillard, with Giannis being one of the top 3 players in the NBA, this is very disappointing. A first round exit for this team was definitely not expected. Before the season, people were putting this team up against the Boston Celtics, and we thought that at the very least the Milwaukee Bucks would be in the Eastern Conference Finals, let alone the NBA Finals. So with all this happening, their offseason is gonna look quite weird, especially with them firing Adrian Griffin, who was a pretty good coach record-wise before the firing, to fire and hire somebody like Doc Rivers. Just doesn't make any sense. Their offseason is going to be weird, and so I'm just going to talk about it and see what they could do to improve this roster and see if Giannis can win a championship with this squad. So the first thing we need to do is definitely go over this Damian Lillard trade. So in the offseason, Damian Lillard requested a trade. The crazy thing is he didn't even want to go to the Milwaukee Bucks. I thought it would be a good destination, but I didn't think Milwaukee had the assets to make it happen. So of course it's a 3-team trade, but Dame wanted to go to Miami and Dame wanted to go to Brooklyn. Brooklyn was crazy to me. I didn't know why he would want to go there. In this trade, the Bucks received just Damian Lillard, but they ended up giving up Drew Holiday, which he ended up on the Celtics. They gave up a 2029 first round pick. They gave up 2 first round pick swaps, so 3 picks in total. They gave up Grayson Allen, who was one of the best players in the NBA when it comes to 3-point shooting. I think he led the league in 3-point shooting this year. They definitely could have used that. And so they gave up Grayson Allen, 3 first round picks, and it looks like Drew Holiday, who went to the Celtics. And that, I don't know if the Bucks would make that trade. If they redid it today and they still had Drew Holiday, they still had those 3 first round picks, would the Bucks make that trade? Or would they wait to try to get a guy like Donovan Mitchell? Or would they wait to try to get a guy like, let's say, Devin Booker, who's on the market? Could you use those same assets to get a guy like that? Or like a Trae Young, who will be younger, who definitely would probably fit a little bit better with Giannis, considering how good of a playmaker that he is. Trae Young right now, as crazy as it is to say, I think Trae Young right now is a better defender than Damian Lillard. And so I know I'm just speaking in the air, but I think that if the Bucks were to run it back and do it all over again, they would not make the Damian Lillard trade. Instead, they would probably hold on to those assets and use it for a different thing. So that's one thing that sucks about that, is that they ended up losing Drew Holiday, who's a key contributor to the Boston Celtics. I think we do need to go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo and the ability to stay healthy. Giannis has been injured or dealing with injuries for a while now, and it's starting to add up and it's starting to become somewhat of a problem. I remember in 2020 during the bubble, the Bucks were favored to go to the finals that year. They lost to the Miami Heat in the second round, and I remember Giannis dealing with somewhat of an injury. Then it goes to 2021, they go ahead and win the championship. But if you guys remember, in that Eastern Conference Finals versus the Atlanta Hawks, Giannis had got hurt late in that series. Of course, he came back, but he had an injury that looked like it was going to keep him out for a while, but he ended up playing. They ended up making the finals, and of course, they beat the Phoenix Suns. Then 2022, Chris Middleton got hurt, but during that time, Giannis was dealing with something and he was still playing great. 2023, he misses multiple games in the first round against the Heat, and they get upset by the 8th seed Heat, and the Heat end up going to the finals. Then you bring it to 2023. This year, he's dealing with an injury against the Indiana Pacers. And oh, I'm sorry, I got the years a little mixed up, but you guys get it. 2023, he's dealing with the injury against the Pacers. Or 2024, he's dealing with the injury against the Pacers. And now it's like, again, this is another year in a row where we talk about Embiid always being hurt during the playoffs. We talk about, other players not performing to their full capabilities. Giannis has been dealing with health issues for a while now. A good amount of time. And the problem with that is going to be, can you trust Giannis to be healthy? I think that you probably need a better player than what Damian Lillard can provide right now, so Giannis can miss more games. Because, he's been consistently not healthy through the end of the season. And I think that Giannis might need to get with a younger star, not somebody who like Damian Lillard, who at any time can miss significant time with a significant injury. And Giannis, who is a guy that wants to play, he's like a 7-foot Russell Westbrook. But you know, when those injuries start coming around, what's gonna happen? So the Milwaukee Bucks salary sheet is not looking good at all. They're a super expensive team for a roster that just lost in the first round. Again, a lot of why they even lost is because of Giannis being hurt, but that's becoming more and more of a problem every single day. We're going to talk about that in a second, but looking at their salary sheet, Giannis is going to get paid $48 million next year. He's the second best player in the league whenever he's healthy, so I mean, I think that's fair. Damian Lillard, $48 million. I don't know about that one. Then after the season after that, Dame has $58 million and then a player option for $63 million. And so that's going to be one of the most expensive contracts in the league. If they do decide to trade Damian Lillard, it's going to be relatively difficult because of his age, his health, and just the fact that he's not really that guy anymore. Chris Middleton, $31 million next season, and then a $34 million player option. That's going to be a contract they probably look to move. Chris Middleton definitely isn't the all-star caliber player that he was before. I know he had a couple good games this series and a couple great shots against the Indiana Pacers, and I think what was game 4. And so Chris Middleton probably still has a little bit of value on the market. I think that Brook Lopez next season is definitely going to be moved. He's making $23 million, which is a pretty fair contract, but I don't think he's worth that player anymore. Bobby Portis is going to make $12 million next season, which is really honestly a great contract. He's still getting a little up in age. He is a role player. So usually superstars do last till like they're 33, 34, 35. He's a role player, so 30 is a little old for a role player, but on that value of contract, you can definitely probably move that for something great. The best thing that can happen to the Bucks in terms of improving their roster is a team like Chicago deciding to blow it up. Even though I don't think Chicago is really a team that is smart enough to actually make that decision, but contracts like Bobby Portis, contracts like Brook Lopez, with a couple of picks, which I'm about to see if they have. I'm actually not sure if the Bucks do have picks. I think they used them all to build this roster, but contracts like this, the Bobby Portis, the Pat Connaughton contract, maybe even Bootcamp, I don't even know how to say his name. That could be a contract that gets moved very easily. He has 2 team options left for the next 2 years on $2 million, $4 million. It's going to be easy to move, but other than that, they do not have much flexibility. Patrick Beverley has a lot going on. Jay Crowder is not really a guy you want to really just re-sign for a good amount of money. I think that this roster has a lot of problems, and these problems aren't going to be fixed anytime soon. This is one of the worst moves of any team all year. They fired Adrian Griffin, who I think at that point was 33-19, to hire Doc Rivers, who was consulting with the team. So this was an inside job. So the Bucks were low-key cheating on Adrian Griffin with Doc Rivers this whole time. Doc Rivers gets to coach the All-Star game because of what Adrian Griffin had done for the team. And then boom, Doc Rivers goes ahead and leads the Bucks to a 19-22 record while he was the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. This is disgraceful, and Doc Rivers has been living off this reputation that he's a great championship coach. He's even was listed as one of the top 15 coaches of all time in the NBA 75 off of 1 championship. He wasn't a great coach for the Orlando Magic. He was not a great coach for the Los Angeles Clippers. Yes, he got them to a lot of wins, but he blew 3-1 leads. He blew 2 3-1 leads with the Clippers. That's disgraceful. Then he goes to the Sixers, and then he blows a 3-2 lead to the Sixers, I'm pretty sure, with James Harden and Joel Embiid playing in that series last year. And so Doc Rivers being the head coach of this Bucks team, I rather would have had Mike Budenholzer. I rather would have had Adrian Griffin just to see what a young coach could do. But I get that this playoff loss isn't particularly on him. Of course, his 2 stars got hurt, but under Doc Rivers, they were 19-22. That's not a great look when you had a coach that was doing relatively well. So Doc Rivers, it's like if Doc Rivers was the coach for a full season, you'd probably be firing him. But now you don't know. And so the Bucks organization is under a lot of turmoil this offseason. I don't really know how they can improve, but of course teams always find a way. It's just trading away pieces like Grayson Allen. Trading for Damian Lillard at this point was a mistake. And now you have your superstar who last offseason was talking about, hey, I think there might be some chances that if we don't figure this stuff out, I want to go. Teams have assets to make a trade for Giannis. For sure, the New York Knicks will make a trade for Giannis in a heartbeat. They have the assets for it. Of course, Miami's always in the picture. Even a team like Dallas could probably come up with something. The Lakers are getting a little bit of picks, so let's just keep our hope for that. But Milwaukee firing their coach, trading for Damian Lillard was a panic move that definitely backfire. And Giannis leaving Milwaukee definitely doesn't seem like something that could happen soon, just because Giannis did sign a contract extension after Damian Lillard did get traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. But a trade can happen at any moment. He could request a trade at any moment. And so there will be teams that will be takers for Giannis Antetokounmpo for sure. So the Bucks need to have a season where they do provide value and they do show that they can win and not be first round exits. The good thing about this is that Giannis seems like a loyal guy. Damian Lillard is locked into a fat contract, which is going to hinder them for a while. So them improving is just going to be difficult. And I think that I don't have the answers. I'm not in the position to be a general manager. But Bucks fans, what do y'all think? And again, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow me, subscribe, sub. Hey, this back-to-back videos. Go watch a video I made about Lakers, the Suns, and the Warriors. I did it all in one video. We're going to get a video about the 76ers because their offseason is looking crazy. Just as I'm making this video too, as you can see this here, Darvin Ham just got fired. So I wonder who's going to be the coach of the Lakers. By the way, he was the assistant coach for the Bucks 2 seasons ago when they won the championship. So it seems like Mike Budenholzer's coaching tree is not that good. So maybe y'all are right about firing Darvin Ham and firing Mike Budenholzer. But other than that, guys, go follow the IG. Go follow the IG at SpillerChris. Subscribe. Like the video. Of course, you want to see more. I'm going to get a video out soon for the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm still going to be reacting to the games. Mavericks, Clippers tonight. I'm going to react to that. But I know I'm yapping a little bit. So let's go ahead and finish this video.